Hello, and welcome to my 45-minute quick 10-step business plan ready to take you into the next year on the right foot. This is our business foundation plan, and we have been utilizing this for, I believe we're going into year number 10. We don't change it too much because we have found it to be so effective. My name is Holly Fogel, and I'm the 1 Hour Coach. I am the virtual coach available for everyone at Remax Center to take advantage of accountability, strategy sessions, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and all of different courses that I provide for Remax Center. And I'm so happy that you're here. Our business foundation plan, also known as our entrepreneur's path, has been an effective tool that we actually use throughout the year. So while the end of the year typically is when everybody thinks about, oh, we've got to start working on our business plan, we actually like to revisit this nice foundation plan every quarter. We operate under the 12-week year many times because we find that the 12-week stints of going toward your goals are so effective for helping you actually reach your yearly goals. The Business Foundation Plan comes with a lot of additional resources, and you will be receiving all of those resources in addition to this recording. If at any time you would like to book a little 15, 30-minute or 45-minute sessions with me, no obligation, at your convenience, to dive in a little bit deeper about what you hear today, I would be honored to do that. I work remotely from Florida. I work with agents all the time. I sold real estate myself for many years. I am a huge fan of the industry, and I love to help people figure out what's holding them back, figure out a clear path on taking steps forward, and really helping you put everything that's in your mind into place. We have so many fantastic tools at Remax that it blows my mind how many things are at our agents' fingertips that with a little extra direction and a little bit of fine tuning and making sure that things align in with your belief system, that you can be off to the races just because you're able to put things into place. I found out over the years that it really doesn't matter what we know. It doesn't matter how much you know. It doesn't matter how little you know, to be honest with you. What really matters is what you do. And we are all in control of our destiny. So, whatever your income level is, however many transactions you wish to close, how many people you want to work with, where you want to secure your business from, the sky is the limit and the choice is yours. What we do here at Remax Center is we work with where you are and we make sure that the tools that we have align with what you're trying to accomplish. So, not every tool is going to be situated for every agent. We all think different. We all have different strengths. We all have different areas that we want to improve on. And more importantly, we all have different goals. So, our one on one approach is what I feel leads our agents, our members to be so successful, and why we have such little turnover, and how I've been with the office for going on 26 years. There's many of my colleagues at our office that have been here year after year after year as well. We really make it about you, how we can help you learn more, have more, and do more. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Now, there is a little caveat catch with our business foundation plan, and that is you can't skip a step. Okay. So you must go through all 10 steps, and I'm going to briefly outline the steps today. But each step in this booklet is actually designed to take you between, I don't know, 20 and 40 minutes each. So we don't want you to rush through the plan. We want you to do it with intention. Our goal is to move most of our agents, and this might resonate a little bit with you. We want to move agents from the spontaneous and reactive world to the proactive and intentional. So we often kind of use these little letters and acronyms and all kinds of things around us when we're talking. Let's move away from S&R and move into P&I. Move away from spontaneous and reactive and move into proactive and intentional. We want to get you off of an income roller coaster. We want to provide you with the clarity, the focus, the direction, and more importantly, the confidence and the enjoyment of your business. So you can't skip a step. Some are going to take you longer than others, and there's really no need to rush. You can take this booklet and work at it at your own pace. It may take you a week. It may take you 2 weeks. The pace is yours, the choice is yours, the goals are yours. We just want to make sure that you accomplish them. So let's go ahead and dive in. First thing is I'm going to outline and just give you a little overview of what the heck are the 10 steps, right? Where am I taking you today? Well, you're going to notice that we will run through these areas. Now, within each area, we have additional resources. So we have supplemental materials. So when you receive this recap and all the resources, I'm going to encourage you to create a folder in your email and then download this stuff into a folder on your desktop so that you can later take advantage of these materials and view them as you see fit. Most of what I will provide to you today will be editable, so you'll be able to just plug and play. And then there's going to be some materials that I'm going to encourage you to put your own branding on and just go ahead and run with it because I'm giving you lots of extra goodies today. So thank you so much for getting registered. So the first thing we're going to do is take you through your aspirations. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't really know what I want, this and that. But I really want to encourage you to take some time and really think about why you started a business in real estate and what this real estate career is providing you for your aspirations outside of the business. We always talk about what are your goals, and then you'll hear people say, oh, I want to do 10 transactions. Okay, but what do you want when you're not doing real estate? What are you really funding? So we're going to go a little bit deeper into aspirations. That's always step one. If you don't have a clear why, it's really hard to stay on the track to actually continue down this path when the going gets tough. So we're going to talk about the importance of your aspirations. The next thing, and probably the hardest part, and the part everybody kind of does the eye roll and I don't want to do it, that's the budgets. This step, I will say, is probably the most important step that you will go through in this process. Now, we give you some spreadsheets to help make it a little bit easier, but this is what usually takes the most time. And I find that people want to skim over this and do what we call guesstimates. And I'm going to encourage you not to do that. Okay. So we will talk about budgeting. After we figure out budgeting, that will establish your financial goals. So we're going to figure out what is your lifestyle number, and that will then determine what your financial goal is. Okay, so once we know that lifestyle number, we're then going to be able to break down how many contacts you need to hit your number. There's been a lot of fuzziness and a lot of clouding over where people are not getting dialed in to really understanding what makes a sales business thrive. And the sales that you are in are about relationships. That's it. It's the relationship that you're selling to then help them buy, sell, rent, invest. Okay. So there's 4 areas and refer. There's 5 income streams. There's the selling, there's the buying, there's the renting, there's the investing, and there's the referring. And all of those are going to require you to build upon relationships and conversations. So everybody likes to throw all these shiny objects and all this stuff, but what it really comes down to is who are you attracting to be the person that people want to work with when they have a need themselves or a need to refer. So your goal is to manage these relationships, and the most important thing you can do is track. So we are going to give you crystal clear direction on how to figure out this number. What you need to then do is break it down by quarters and then track it weekly. And we have all of the tools to help you do this in a systemized fashion. After we figure that out, we're going to talk about marketing. You then have to decide, how are you going to market your business? There's not a business on the planet that will remain in business if they do not market. Okay, so that is a very, very important part of what you do, is not only marketing the business that you do get, but it's marketing to ensure that you have a constant and consistent flow of opportunity at all times so that we can get you off of what I call the income roller coaster. The last two steps, step 9, we're going to talk about what training you need, what areas, and how do you get that training. And then the last piece of the puzzle that kind of sandwiches everything in is the accountability. And you can either be accountable to yourself, you can get an accountability partner. The accountability partner actually does not have to be in the business. It can be a family member, it can be a friend outside of the industry. It's just someone that cares about your success. It can be a coach, it doesn't have to be a coach, but you need to seek this out. Don't sit in the background and wait for someone to hold you accountable. What you want to do is be an active participant in seeking out and asking for the help and the accountability that's going to help propel you forward week after week. Okay. Um, you're a business owner. And sometimes it can feel and be a lonely place if you're not surrounded by the right support, the right mindset, the right level of professionalism, the right level of seriousness. People that are taking this industry serious and providing a super high level of service to the clientele base are the ones that are going to thrive well into the future. Okay, so that's who we're seeking. We're seeking the right people for the right reasons, with the right mindset, the right fit, the right desire, the people that want to over deliver in the area of service to their clients at the highest, utmost level of ethics, professionalism, and seriousness, so that we can make sure we are not only protecting our reputation as a company and as an individual, but we are very serious about protecting the industry as a whole. And that's what we're about here. And it's just been a great, fascinating journey. And I am totally committed to this career choice that you've made. It's a difficult one. And it's just really fun to uncover the layers of how different we all are and how we all think differently. It's fascinating and it's fun. And if you look at everything as an opportunity and look at everything with an open mind, it's amazing where being an entrepreneur can really take you. So welcome. And I'm excited for the fact that you've even chosen this path. Step 1, and my mouse is just going a little crazy here. Step 1. Okay, so you are going to get this booklet. You're going to be able to follow along and print this out, and I encourage you to print it out. But think about your aspirations, okay? We have some examples here. Put my kids through school, toasting our 30th anniversary on the Eiffel Tower, retiring at 60, right? Volunteering at a homeless shelter 20 hours a week. What are the things that you are really inspired to do the work to fuel the passion outside of your career? We call these passion links. When your why is strong enough, then that will carry you through the difficult times when you hit the brick walls, when you're getting a little bit of frustration, when you feel like you're maybe been chasing your tail a little bit, or the market's up or the market's down. The market's never what we wanted. Every time we're in a market, I hear people saying, oh, this market is so crazy. I've never seen an industry that has a crazy market 24/7, year after year after year, but apparently it does. Because no matter what market we're in, somebody's going to find a reason to call it crazy and to complain about it. So we need to stop looking at it that way and we need to just look at it. It's fascinating. The market is what it is, and we are going to use our skill set and our communication and our dialogue to communicate effectively and help people through whatever the market is. We don't determine it. We simply encourage people through it, and we provide solutions to whatever market we're presented in. And that's it. And then when we're not working, hopefully we're funding and fueling our passions outside of our career. So I want you to just write down 5 short-term goals, 5 midterm goals. When do you want to retire? What is a big thing you want to accomplish? What are some things that you've already accomplished that you're really proud of? What are your hobbies? What just do a brain dump on just all the things that kind of come to your mind when you think about what do I want? What makes me happy? What do I want less of? What could I be doing more of outside my career? What do I want to get better at? So take that time and really just close your eyes and just think about the things that make you happy and jot it down. No, there is no right, there is no wrong. Nobody's looking. It's for you. But there's an actual cool connection that happens when you actually take your thoughts from your head and put them to paper. So I'm going to encourage you, don't skip this step. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just jot some stuff down. Okay. Now I'm going to be providing you with some Excel spreadsheets that are going to help you go through the painful part of the budgets. I'm going to encourage you to have your laptop, your bank account, your credit card statements. Going through these budget numbers quarterly is kind of fascinating because it's going to expose some things for you. It's going to expose some things in the area of, wow, I'm spending money on that. I forgot. I forgot that I had that subscription. It's going to have you question whether or not you really need something. Could I replace that with something cheaper? Could I get rid of it altogether? Or is it a must have? So you can actually color code your spreadsheet after you complete by filling in what is. So put in the reality of all these numbers. What do you pay for your mortgage? What's your yard care? What do you pay for home security, the Ring doorbell cameras, right? Your renter's insurance or your homeowner's insurance, groceries. Go look at your Publix or Kroger bill, Walmart. How much are you spending? Don't guesstimate. Look at the reality. This really is super important. You can guesstimate maybe one time a year, but the other 3 times a year, it better be spot on because numbers don't lie. Your thoughts and feelings can. So you need to see what your reality is. This is so important. Please, please, if I could stress anything, it is going through this painful process. And I know it's not fun to look at the reality of what it is sometimes. You've got to do it. And we tried to think of almost everything, but it doesn't have. But you will notice each category area will have an other. So if we didn't think of it, you'll be able to see it. We have miscellaneous expenses, personal, um, pet expenses, fun for me, other, music, books, personal care, nails, hair, eyelashes, all that stuff that when I go through this process, I'm like, oh, do I really need that? I didn't realize I spent that much. So when you see it on a yearly amount, and that's what the Excel spreadsheet will do, sometimes it's sticker shock. It's like, what? It doesn't seem like getting my hair done $150 is that big a deal until I look at how much it is over the year. And then I'm like, oh, yikes, really? So we need to do this. You need to get that clear picture, and then it's going to give you your summary of all the different areas, and it will give you your total personal expenses. Can't stress it enough. Don't cheat. Then you're going to do the same darn thing for your business budget. Now, if you're newer to the industry and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to spend, this is going to give you some ideas and some areas for you to be thinking about what you are going to be spending on. You are a business owner now, and there's not a business on the planet that doesn't have expenses. So I like our business because the barrier is actually pretty low for entry. It's not a low barrier to maintain your business, but you are going to have to spend in order to earn. And so we like to spend in areas where we know we're getting an investment back. So we call those investments, but you will have some things that are just going to be considered an expense. So be prepared for that. We're going to go through, and again, we tried to come up with as many areas as possible. So there's several pages to the business budget and the personal budget. And then we're going to add all of that up. And now you will be faced with 2 budget numbers, personal and business. And you're going to add those 2 numbers together. And when you add those 2 numbers together, that will give us what we call your annual lifestyle number. Okay. Now, I find a lot of people get into this business and they do not have a clear lifestyle number. And that's the first mistake. Because what you're realizing is that whether you have a closing or not, your bills need to be paid. So what we want to do is get you to a place where you have regular income every month that aligns with the monthly bills that come in. That's the goal. We don't want you to go 2 months and have three closings and then go 3 months with none. And that, what a disaster. That just feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? We don't want you there. We want to get you to a place where you live off of a metric. In my pipeline classes that I teach, 1-1-20, which is one under contract, one current client, and 20 active leads at all times. So once I can get people to the 1-1-20 pipeline metric, they're off to the races. They need a little bit of accountability. They need some training here and there. But my goodness, what great businesses these folks are operating from. That's the bulk of our office. That's where we try to get everybody. That's a minimum. I have several agents. They're like, no, 5 under contract, 5 current clients, and 50 active leads at all time. So your metric can be different, but we always operate on a minimum, which is 1-1-20. So 1 under contract, 1 current client, and 20 active leads at all times. Okay. So now we are going to, on page 11, you'll see the ability for you to add in your personal expense budget, your business budget, and that's going to give us a combined number of necessary income after taxes. So we need to add in for our tax liability. So unless you've added in your quarterly tax expenditure, which many of you already know what you paid quarterly, so you can add that in the front end. So you can build that into your number. But if you're newer and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure what, my tax liability is going to be, we'll give you a couple of little multipliers here for examples. They're a little bit high, but that's okay. I'd much rather you earn too much and have left over than not earn enough and have to struggle to pay the tax man. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to add your two numbers and then we're going to multiply it by a multiplier to give us our grand lifestyle number. Okay. So you'll see here, 194,000 in this example. Is what is necessary. Remax Center agents, average income is about 160,000. We have 168 agents right now. So we're operating at pretty good numbers. Those might be slightly elevated now that the sales prices have gone up. So I might not have the exact number, but happy to get you that if you're interested to know what our exact stats are. What we care about is you, the individual. But we do operate at a very high level of production. And this is just a great place to be. Lots of support, and they're on a roll here, and everybody helps and collaborates with each other. So it's a great environment. Once we get your number established, boom, we're going to move on over to page 12. And this is going to help us figure out our sales numbers that we need, right? So in our example here, if your lifestyle number, including taxes, was 194,000, we're going to bring that number up to the top here in the booklet. And then you'll see that we're going to figure out what is your average commission. This is an older booklet. Like I said, we don't change this booklet because it's so darn effective. So just the only thing that's really changing are the numbers in here. And these are all examples anyway. So if my lifestyle number is 194,000, and my average commission is 6,000. That means I need 33 transactions in order to hit my lifestyle number. So 33 transactions, average commission 6,000, that will yield me my lifestyle number. That's enough to pay everything that's on my personal budget, my business budget, and the tax man. That's a good life. Because especially if I put in the budget, $2,000 a month for retirement, 4 vacations a year. I mean, you can build out that spreadsheet to be either what is currently going on in your life or what you want it to be. You're in control of your income destiny. No market will ever determine your income. It's your effort that determines the income. So don't get down into that trap thinking that good markets give good results, bad markets give bad results. No, all of the results are determined by the agent's effort, period. There has never been zero sales, ever. I think the lowest amount was 3.9 million. So there's always sales. It's who's getting the sales The person getting the sales is the person that has non-negotiables in their life. And that's what this system does. Now, if I need 33 transactions, we can divide that out 50-50, half buyers, half sellers. And then we're going to build in some multipliers for when you read through this, it's going to show you, what if not everybody closes? What if every buyer you work with that you put under contract can't actually end up satisfying that commitment? What if their loan gets denied at the last minute? What if they end up the transfer moves away? What if the home expires? So in our example, we always build in for what I call fluff or for the fallout for homes that actually don't end up selling. Okay. So what we do is we have some percentages and you'll see them in here. So we're going to take our 33 necessary transactions and assuming that all 33 closed, that's great. But what if we had some of these 33 that didn't? Well, we want to build in for that discrepancy. So when you follow through here, it'll give you the numbers to work on. And you'll see that the end result says, if I want to earn unequivocally $194,663, I'm going to need to secure 52 clients. Now, if all 52 clients close, you will notice that that income will be much higher than the 194. But if I secure 52 clients and some change their mind, some decide not to move, the transfer falls out, the loan doesn't go through, as long as out of 52, 33 actually do make it to the closing table, then I will have satisfied my 194,000. So I don't think there's anybody watching this that if you were to close 52 instead of 33, that you would be mad, right? I think you'd be happy. So it's a win-win anyway that you look at it. So in our example, 52 transactions are needed to hit our lifestyle number of 194,663. Very, very doable, right? That is extremely doable. It might sound insurmountable when you look at it face value, but that's why we don't look at it face value. That's why we do a lot of operating on the 12-week year, because we're looking at smaller snippets of time. And we also know the power of the compound effect. And we can look at things by day and by week. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. So now that we have our financial goal, we are going to now figure out what is our daily contact target. And this is if you were to track nothing else in your business but how many good quality contacts / conversations you have about real estate, that would be enough tracking, in my opinion, to get you where you need to go. It's just for some reason, people just have an aversion to tracking. Now, the ones that do track, they always hit their numbers and we kind of laugh about it. But then there's other people that say they're going to track, they want to track, they start tracking, but darn it, they just can't keep tracking for whatever reason, right? Consistency is one of the hardest things for us to achieve for some reason, me included. So I know it's a struggle, but it's also a choice. So making a decision to do something is a choice. Turning that into a habit is a choice. And I always say the choice is yours, right? Your income goal is your income goal. If you don't hit your income goal, it's not for anybody else's reason except for your own. So the blame always rests on our shoulders because we're entrepreneurs. So we can't pass the buck to anybody but the mirror. And that's just the world that we live in. So the quicker that you take ownership of that and you pride yourself on that, and you do what you say you're going to do, and you become a good example for your family or for your children, or for other people in the marketplace, the more serious you will take, your craft. So now we have our here, total number of clients is 52. Now we have changed line 2 on this page. So line 2 right now is how many contacts do we need to get a client? Now I'm going to change the word contact to conversation. It's the same thing, but I think contact makes people think people, like individual contacts, whereas what you really need to have are conversations. And they need to be, there's a couple of things that you have to follow for this to actually be accurate and work on your behalf. Needs to be a conversation about real estate. You need to be operating in this conversation coming from the point of your position, meaning realtor mode. You have on the realtor hat, you're answering a question, you're on an appointment, you're providing value, you're talking about the market, all these things around real estate, and it has to be two-way in nature. So you can't, I'm going to do a blog today and I'm going to talk about real estate. That doesn't count because you're not going two-way with somebody, right? I'm going to mail out a newsletter to 250 people. That's 250 conversations. No, it's not. Because the only time you get to count one of these responses, one moment, please. They're here. The only way you get to count one of these responses is if somebody responds and you have a two-way engagement about real estate. Now, the good news is that it's not just face-to-face. So we have 5 different ways that you're going to be able to actually count conversations. 5 different contact methods. Now, the other little caveat is once you've secured a client, so once somebody hires you to list their home, once somebody hires you to work with you as a buyer or a seller, right? Once you've hired, you can no longer further count any more conversations with that individual. So it used to be 35 conversations about real estate should yield you somebody ready to buy or sell or invest or refer or something. You should have some type of person that's ready to take the relationship one step further with you. That number has increased. So even if you go to ChatGPT and say, I want to do 10 sales next year, how many conversations do I need? It's going to spit back probably the metric, and it's going to quote Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, Travis Robertson, all of these coaches and all of these conversion sources that are out there. It's roughly 50. So we've been using between 40 and 45, but our agents have been in business a lot longer. And so their number comes down. The longer you're in business, the more confident, the more competent, the more conversations you have, and you don't even realize you're having the conversations. So these can change. If you're a brand new agent, please use the metric of 50. What's going to happen if you're willing to take the 1-year challenge to actually track all of your conversations? You'll figure out what your specific number is. But most people fall off the wagon of tracking by July, August. Most of the time they've already hit their goals. That's why. So then they stop tracking because they're like, oh my gosh, I already made it. How did that happen? It happens because they track their conversations. So good news is over here on the left side of this page, on page 13, it's going to tell you what is a contact. So the following activities count as contacts face-to-face, one-on-one conversations where you talk about real estate at some point. Every Sunday, I'm going to encourage you to sit down, look at your calendar and say, when am I going to be in front of people this week? Do I have an open house scheduled? Am I doing a buyer seminar, seller seminar? When am I getting up, getting dressed, and getting out of the house? Where am I putting myself? Where am I going? If you're sitting at home day in and day out, you're going to have a very difficult time being in positions to have face-to-face conversations, and face-to-face are at the highest end of the quality impact. So highest quality, highest form of impact is face-to-face. So typically, if someone's not hitting their income goals, I can peel back the layers of where they've been spending their time and what they've been doing. And honestly, they're just not talking to enough people. That's really what it comes down to. You could do a little self-reflection right now. You're probably not engaging enough about who you are and what you do. So we need to fix that. And we help people fix that. That's what we do. The second thing that you get to count are phone calls. So I have a lot of folks that call expireds. They're not really focused on whether or not they list the expired. They're focused on having a two-way conversation with somebody about real estate. And expired, FSBOs, and withdrawns, you're pretty much guaranteed to be talking about real estate. When you call your clients the week of the year that they bought their house, year after year, that home anniversary, you're pretty much always talking about real estate. You can count that. So what you need to realize is that if I want to close 10 deals in 2026, I need to have 50 conversations, which means I'm probably going to talk to 400 and something conversations that aren't going to go anywhere. So I don't get hung up on the outcome of the conversation. I get hung up on having the conversation because I get to add that to my bank, my conversation bank, and the clients will appear from somewhere. So I don't know how it works, but it works year after year after year. We kind of all laugh about it, going, oh my God, this is so crazy. It works. And it does work. So we love it. Now, you cannot call a voicemail. You can't count voicemail messages. If you leave a voicemail and that individual returns the call, you can count that as a conversation. Personal text, two-way in nature about real estate, an email back and forth, you get to count that. And the only one that is not two-way in nature is the handwritten note. So all my Buffini friends out there, they love that one because a handwritten note can be just one way. So I have a lot of folks that just write handwritten notes to expires, withdrawals, and FSBOs. They count those as conversations, and they may never even list any of those, but they always hit their goals. The clients come out of somewhere. You're just not putting enough stuff out there. And the more you talk about who you are, what you do, answering questions, providing value, a lot of the tools we already have that help you do all this. So we have tools that actually help you do 60% of the heavy lifting. The other 40% is up to you. You're kind of off to the races. So you'll notice in our example, when the number used to be 35, it was 52 times 35 was 1,820 conversations / contacts, not 1,820 different people. 1,820 conversations for the year. You divide that out by 5 days a week, 45 weeks a year, and you'll get 8 contacts a day, which is 40 a week. Super doable, ridiculous. When you drop these down to the ridiculous, it's hard to understand why people are not successful. It's just super hard. Because if you can't, and that's for 52. And if you're not willing to work on your skill, to be able to put yourself in situations to have 40 or less conversations by email, text, face to face, in person, handwritten notes a week, probably not the right industry for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. This industry isn't for everybody. We feel like everybody has a real estate license, but that's far from the truth. There's plenty of people this isn't for them. So if this is for you, you need to get grounded in realizing that if you do not have this skill, you need to work on this skill. If you just worked on how to put yourself in positions to have conversations and emails and provide value and information, and you loved what you did, and you were confident and you were competent, and you couldn't wait to help people, and you had a heart to serve, it's really hard to fail. I mean, it's just hard to fail anyway with all the tools and the support we have, unless it's a will issue. So you either have a will issue, meaning you're just not willing to do it, or you have a skill issue in which you're not skilled, but if you're willing to learn, then the sky is the limit. You just have to make the decision. Is it for you? Is it a will issue or a skill issue? And if it is a skill issue, are you willing to improve? When I started working on myself, I started to have a real estate career. When I wanted to blame everybody else for everything that was going wrong in my real estate career, I wasn't getting anywhere. I kept blaming, oh, these leads are terrible. Oh my God, these people lie. Oh my God, this person never calls me back. These people are terrible. Oh my God, this is awful. Well, when I then put the mirror on myself, I realized that it was all me. I was doing it all wrong. I didn't know how to build rapport. I wasn't asking good questions. I was terrible at follow-up. I was nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof. I'd hold an open house and pray nobody came because I was unskilled. Well, of course I'm going to be unskilled. I'd never done it before. So why was I thinking that all of a sudden I could just walk into being an entrepreneur and not work on skills? I have no idea why I thought that, but I did. And then I quickly learned, you better work on yourself if you want to make it. And then everything changed. So you work on yourself and it's amazing what happens. You get the right support, it's amazing what happens. You get the right training, it's amazing what happens. You love what you do, you ask for help, you enjoy the criticism, you look to improve. That's what it's about. That's what life's about. Every job you've ever had, there was a part where you were trained and they said, no, you did it wrong. Nope, you've got to do it this way. Try again. Right? This is no different. This is no different. Don't try to do it on your own. I don't know why people do that. It's like, don't hide out at home. Go out and get the help that you need. Get into the Zoom rooms, get into the support, get into the weekly. We do a Monday motivational every Monday, 10 o'clock. We've been doing it for 4 years. It's a place to come and start the week out right. Come on, let's get on the right foot. Let's get some tasks done. Let's get our plan out there. What are we going to accomplish this week? What do we need help at? You've got to surround yourself with the goods to be able to reap the rewards. So now you have your contact goal and you have your number. Now I want you to do what I want you to do is look at last year. Where did your business come from? It's going to be one of these sources. And you're going to start tracking your business all the time where it comes from. That's how you improve. So you need to look at where your business came from, whatever worked, let's get better. If you were investing in things that didn't work, let's either improve the skill set to make sure we can convert or stop doing it, right? Shut it down altogether. But there's a finite number of ways. We really encourage people to have 4 different business channels. So you're going to pick 4 different modes to get your business from, and we're going to help you go deep. Go deep on those 4 ways. That's what's going to get you to the promised land. Okay. So look at what worked last year. If you're new to the business, what inspires you? What is an area that you don't cringe at when you look at it? So I'm going to put up some channels here that you can look through. There's Working Your Sphere, there's open houses, FISBOs expired, just listed, geographic farming, there's social media, there's other kind of pay network avenues, there's buying leads, there's creating your own. There's a finite number of ways, but I want you to pick 4 and then we want you to go real deep. We want you to go real deep on the 4 so that you understand where to spend your time in those activities on a regular basis. Okay. So it's basically pretty simple. These are all the classes that we teach along with the other courses that I have created. I've created several courses that are actually approved for CE credit in the state of Georgia. So we often run free CE throughout the year. We go deep, we have handouts, we have one-on-ones, we have group classes, we do series classes. And a lot of people just work better one-on-one. So I enjoy those times as well because everyone's kind of at a different place and some people don't feel as comfortable talking about, maybe where their challenges are in a group setting. That's fine. Other people love that. We love to get input from folks. So we often have panels. We have people participating in our sales meetings. So, there's a way for everybody. There's a way for everybody. And I love the different layers of support that we offer and the different layers of technology that we have. So I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback. What do you think of these steps? Are you going to take the challenge to go through steps 1 through 10? It's your call. But I'd like to show you again to reinforce contacts equal income. So if you make 1 contact per day, 5 days a week, 45 weeks a year, you should expect 25,000 in GCI. If you make 2 contacts, expect 50. 4 contacts a day, 5 days a week, 45 weeks a year, expect 100. 6 and then 8. It's your call, literally. I hope to hear from you. I would love to hear more about your story, about your journey. Feel free to reach out. Say, hey, I'd love a 20-minute no obligation strategy session. Maybe I can tell you what I'm doing. Maybe you can give me a little bit of direction. I don't have all the answers, but you know what? It's amazing what 2 people, it's not just 2 people. It's like the power of 11. When 2 people just kind of talk about where you are and what I've seen and what I see working and what's going on, sometimes you just need to bounce some ideas off of someone. I would love to do that. I often have strategy calls with people from all over the country, actually. It's fun. It's a way for me to keep my pulse on my finger on the pulse of what's happening in all these different markets. My home market is Atlanta. My home market's Remax Center. I'd love for you to be part of it. I'd love to hear more about your story. So feel free to reach out and get on my calendar. It would be great to hear a little bit more about your journey and tell you a little bit more about ours. I hope to hear from you. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.